you tell me something about your parents and their occupations?
My parents were born in Puerto Rico, and they came to Connecticut in 1952. My father was a laborer in New Britain, and my mother worked in a factory. I was the first person in my extended family to graduate from college.
Could you tell me what time frame this was when you were going to Southern and Central?
I graduated from high school in 1967. So from 1967 to 68, I went to Southern, and then 68 to 71, I went to Central. Graduated with honors and with a degree in education, with a major in Spanish and French. And then after I graduated from there, I was awarded a fellowship from Brown University, and I was admitted into their PhD program. I thought I wanted to be a college professor. But after 5 years of school, I thought, well, maybe I should, work or do something. So I took a leave of absence from Brown, and I taught school. There, I discovered that I didn't like teaching.
Where did you attend law school?
I went to George Washington University.
What made you think you wanted to go to law school?
I was in downtown New Britain, and I came across a friend of mine from Central. He was an African-American male, and I asked him, I said, well, what have you been doing? What are you doing? He says, oh, I'm applying to law school. And I thought, well, geez, if he's applying to law school, maybe I have a shot at it. So I started looking into it, and then I did. I went through, I applied, and then I selected out of a couple of other schools that I wanted to go to D.C.
When did you take the bar exam?
1976.
What was your first job out of law school?
Out of law school, I was hired by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as a special agent.
And how many years were you in the FBI?
3.5.
What did you do next?
I always wanted to be a trial lawyer once I got into the law. One day, I came home to Connecticut to visit my family, and I went to the UConn Law School and went to the placement office, and I saw that there was an announcement for a position at the it was actually the state's attorney's office. So I called the U.S. Attorney's office, and she goes, she says, the U.S. Attorney, who was Richard Blumenthal at the time, is working with the FBI now in one of these, Iran-Contra or something investigations, and she said, send in your resume, I think he'd be interested. So I did, and he hired me.
What year was that?
1980.
1980.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your first assignment as an assistant U.S. attorney?
I worked the criminal division, and I worked, criminal cases of all sorts, and I worked with the FBI and other agencies.
What got you to move from the U.S. Attorney's office?
Another kind of coincidence. At the time, the U.S. Attorney was Stanley Twardy, so he recommended me to Governor Weicker, and he appointed me to the Superior Court in 1992. I ended up with being the first Hispanic sworn as a judge in the state of Connecticut.
So once you passed the Senate and the House, and you were sworn in, what was your first assignment?
GA 14 in Hartford, in the criminal section. I hadn't been there very long when I was assigned a trial. What
year was this now?
This was in 1992, 93. In that, yeah. So there was a group of protesters, anti-abortion protesters. They chained themselves in the office of a gynecologist's office in West Hartford, and so they were arrested for, breach of peace and all of that. We had a trial. I remember that was kind of a intimidating situation because I received personally photographs of fetuses and terrible images of from California, from all over the country. It was a very big deal at the time.
Any other trials that you particularly remember?
Over the years, I have had quite a few trials. I think as of today, I'm the only woman who only has done criminal work. All the other people have done, actually not woman, judge, that has only done criminal. And then over the years, I presided over criminal trials. I was assigned to Part A in Hartford, which some of the biggest cases in the state were there. And I presided over mostly murder cases, sexual assaults, armed robberies.
Do you remember any reactions by the marshals, or I guess at the time they were called sheriffs, to you when you first went on the bench?
They were watching to see if I, as a woman, could handle the control of the courtroom. That was very important to them, because they had to deal with the incarcerated defendants.
So how did you make it to the appellate court?
There I was appointed by Governor Daniel Malloy, and he just called me up, and I talked to his legal counsel, and they interviewed me.
Did you have any desire to leave the trial bench?
Not really. I really enjoyed the trial bench, but it was something I couldn't say no to, to go on the appellate court. So it was important to the Puerto Rican Hispanic community.
And then you were named to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
How did that take place?
Again, by Governor Daniel Malloy.
How long were you on the appellate court?
2 years.
Okay. And when did he appoint you to the Supreme Court?
March of 2013. Being an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court is the most difficult assignment that I've had. You need 4 justices to agree to a majority opinion, and it's not an easy thing in most cases, because the cases that we hear are difficult.
And do you have any children?
Yes, I have 3 children.
When you had these children, how did it affect your career?
Being a mother and a lawyer and a judge, it's not easy. It's just another added, job that you have to do. So, yes, of course, you have a lot more work. You have your home life. You have your professional life, and it's something though that you don't even think about. It's just part of you that you do. And of course, with me, my family comes first, my kids.
Did you have to back off on the amount of work you were doing, or were you able to carry a full load while you were bringing these children up?
Oh, absolutely. Full load. No, you can't. No one gives you a pass because you're a mother. Mm-hmm. You're expected to do your work, and my family expects that I'm going to be responsible for them and take care of them.
If you had to do it all over again, would you become a lawyer?
Absolutely. To me, being a lawyer isn't a career. It's a way of life. It's who you are. And I've gotten nothing but pleasure out of it, nothing but a challenge from it. And there's nothing that I would have changed.
Do you have any advice for a woman entering the career as a lawyer today?
Well, certainly I would encourage women to go into the law. There's so many things that you can do with a law degree. They could go to different areas of the law that maybe they didn't think that a woman should go into. I would encourage women to do that, not to be pigeonholed into a legal career that they think that's what a woman should do, and that they should branch out and go into all areas of the law.